I will not take my suffering and dump it on someone else for me to feel better. I refuse.
All that will do is increase everyone's pain.
Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome to another lyric analysis. Today's song is called Live With This. It is the 5th and last song of the Pink section and the 15th song overall. So I've got the first 3 sections done. How cool. All right. This one's depressing, which if you've listened to any of my stuff, you probably are like, that's not a surprise. I would say the main thesis of this song is there are things in life that aren't okay that we don't want to admit, that we just have to accept. There are some things we're powerless about. And I am a big fan of taking responsibility for your life and your emotions and your actions. But if you take responsibility for everything, for things that aren't your fault and things you can't control, it's going to make you feel worse. So it's like the classic serenity prayer for alcoholics. Like, I don't remember the exact quote. Well, I'll put it here because I'm butchering it. So let me actually try to be a little bit more concise. So the first line is, this life was a mistake. When you have a kind of spiritual awakening in the middle of a mental health crisis, the idea that you're the creator of your own reality and you can create anything that you want by managing your own vibrations, aka thoughts and emotions, and that you just keep going on, reincarnating, body to body, soul to soul, all that stuff. If you're in a good mood, it's great. It's like, I get to live forever and create my own reality. If you're in a bad mood, it's like, God, when will this nightmare ever end? And that's where I was, like, knowing that I have the power to change my life, but then not being able to, made me feel even worse about myself, self-esteem wise. Then it says, I can't seem to escape this prison I've built myself. Yeah, this prison of these negative emotions, and then that's all I can really feel anymore. This prison of this severely dysregulated nervous system, because anytime I felt comfortable, I thought I wasn't pushing hard enough or I'm lazy, and that's why. So I would never allow myself to be comfortable. And there's a big difference between facing and pushing past discomfort and never letting yourself be comfortable and rest and feel refreshed and feeling guilty. So even when my body and mind tried to make me feel better, I'd feel guilty. So there was just like no escape. So no wonder I didn't want to go on. I just felt completely powerless, but knowing I shouldn't be powerless. It's like knowing I have the power to change my life, but yet I can't seem to do it and I feel powerless. So wow, what's wrong with me? So it doesn't mean you can't have what you want, but it might take time, it might take effort, it might take practice. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a failure. And then it goes, how pathetic is this? How pathetic it is that I have the power, yet I can't tap into it because that must be my weak character, weak personality. And then it says, how could I not feel worthless? It's the idea that I was given all these gifts and wonderful things in life, but I can't use them. Like I was a great dancer, good student. I feel like I'm smart. I feel like I'm creative. So like, why am I such a failure if I have all these good qualities and I'm working my hardest and I'm still failing? It's just this game of life I didn't want to play anymore. Then it goes, how stupid of me to get lost when I had a map in my heart always there from the start. This is definitely about like chakras and the heart chakra and how the heart is the electromagnetic like center of the body. So living from the heart and your emotions is a really powerful thing because it literally creates this like electromagnetic field that then attracts what you want into your life. And scientifically, like Joe Dispenza, he's done research, like he's a neuroscientist who's done research about brain and heart coherence. And when your brain and heart beat together coherently, people have these like wonderfully euphoric states just closing their eyes because their body's in sync and connected to, You can call it the divine source. I just think of it as all the body systems are aligned and working together instead of all these imbalances fighting each other. I also probably think it's just when your heart and brain are coherent, it helps align the chakras. But if chakras aren't your thing, you can just think of physical or mental imbalances in the body that cause illness and symptoms. So it's like, wow, I had all the information right here in my heart all along, like if I just followed my intuition or my emotions, but that's what I rejected. So it's like, how stupid I am for doing that. Like, how could I be that dumb? How could I be that pathetic? How could I be that worthless? To have a map and have all the answers right here, but I couldn't see it. How humiliating to fail when you had everything. So like I said, to fail when I came from a background of like good things externally and materially. Like my parents had money in terms of, you know, like race and the way my body looks. I'm not really gonna get a lot of like prejudice and that kind of negative stuff from the world because I have a very conventional, like, white girl looking appearance. I don't know, like, it's just, you could probably even call it privilege. And, you know, my parents, upper middle class, my dad's a lawyer, like money, you know, I was smart, I was talented, like physically in dance and gymnastics. So from this external perspective, like I had everything. How could I possibly fail? It must be who I am is the problem. And then it goes, I came to help people love themselves, but I betrayed my heart. I am a shell of myself. So when I said I came to help people love themselves, this is more like a spiritual perspective of like reincarnation and life purpose. And I feel like a big thing of my life purpose is to break negative cycles that just keep the suffering going on forever. And one of the big things is helping people love themselves. I came to help people like heal and be more aligned with their heart, but I betrayed my life purpose and mission by ignoring my emotions, ignoring my intuition, and destroying myself. So I betrayed my heart, betrayed my emotions, betrayed my truth. I am a shell of myself. I am a shell of the person I could be. I had good intentions. I was trying to be a good person, not be swayed by the weak emotions. And I was trying to do my best. I was just like confused and I didn't know the right way to live. I still don't. No one does. But I feel like I've got some of the concepts a little more correct than before. It's ignorance and innocence, and to be that self-critical about ignorance and innocence is really unfair because I was trying my best. But part of me feels like I could have done better. I should have known. Why didn't I know? How could I not have seen it? Then it goes, I get the irony, hating myself for not choosing love. And those cycles I said I was here to break, here's another one of them. I'm so self-critical and so hateful towards myself for not knowing certain things and not being compassionate with myself. But yet by being so self-critical, I'm continuing the cycle of not being compassionate towards myself and knowing that I did the best I could. So yeah, I get that that conflicts. It just got sucked up into that same negative, destructive cycle. This is the bridge. This is dark. Beware. It's unbearable. This was at a time my symptoms were so severe, these attacks. There were some nights I was not sure I was going to make it through the night. It felt like I was on hospice, waiting to die. And I know, like, you'll say, like, you don't have the right to say that. I have no other description or metaphor or even comparison that I think could even come close. It was torture. So yeah, it's unbearable. And then it says, even suicide is no escape. All that will do is increase everyone's pain. I was thinking about suicide at least 12 hours a day, but with the spiritual stuff I'm realizing or remembering, it's like, oh, if I commit suicide, I'll be the same person, the same soul, just in a different place. And guess what? I'll probably start this life over again because on the other side, the soul forgets all the pain and suffering and just wants to learn. So I'm like, shoot, I'll still be myself. I'll still have all my emotional problems. I'll still have all these conflicts. So there's nowhere to go. And do I know what's waiting for me on the other side for sure? Absolutely not. But I couldn't take the risk of it being worse than what I have here. Suicide is no escape because if a person commits suicide, they're still themselves. Then it goes, all that will do is increase everyone's pain. I want to end the suffering. I don't want to cause more. And I feel like you touch people in your life more than you think or remember. And I do believe we have soul contracts, but also like we are all one. And it wouldn't end my suffering. It would just spread it to other people. And that's something that is so against my character. I will not take my suffering and dump it on someone else for me to feel better. I refuse. Then it goes, the soul remembers it wants to come back to win the game. You can think of life as a game. You know, they call it the Matrix, all this stuff. It's this game where you learn lessons about who you are and have different experiences and why you're alive, you're in this body to learn and experience all you can. And suicide would be like if I lost the game. And from the other side, it's a different perspective and you'd be like, oh, I lost the game. What's the first thing you do when you lose? You want to try again so you can win. So then suffering can start over. So I'll just recreate this same hell with even less of myself. So I'll just come back to this same life. One more cycle of suffering. Which the more you get entrenched in a cycle, the stronger it goes. And that could go on for an eternity. And I can't have it go on that long. Then it goes, there's no way out. I am powerless. I've realized like suicide isn't an escape. But I also feel so strongly that I'm powerless to do anything because I've tried so many times to recover and fix my life and failed. Probably because the foundations I was living by were incorrect. But I didn't know that. And something that I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And the people around me don't know as much as I thought they knew. So it's like I feel unsafe of like, I don't know what's right. What's the truth, what's not. I feel like I've been so easily manipulated my whole life. So it's the lost trust in myself. How do I cope when hope has failed? I have a complex relationship with the word hope. Hope is like something will be better in the future. Which is great if your life is in immediate danger or you physically can't go on. But it is a terrible long-term strategy because you're always imagining and living in this perfect imaginary future which doesn't actually exist. So I realized I was doing that. So I'm like, okay, this hope is just creating this illusion or delusion of this perfect life if I just suffer a little bit more. But I just suffered a little bit more and I kept pushing it back and back and back until I'd feel better. And then I realized like, that's just an illusion to keep me going. It's a bad long-term solution. Although what I will say is that when you have such a negative perspective about life, hope can be good because you can realize that like, okay, my perspective now is colored by trauma. And perspectives are changing, so I won't necessarily always feel like that. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling in the future, actually. So it's good to become less attached to the negativity in the moment, but you also have to accept where you are in the moment and not live in this illusion of, I just gotta suffer a little more and everything will be perfect. And maybe other people don't experience hope that way, but I did. Hope is like a prescription medication. Like, it'll decrease the pain, it'll get you through, but it's much better to find a natural solution. And then there's no way out. I am powerless. I am powerless to feel exactly the way I want to feel right in this moment because I don't know how. I'm powerless to know what's the right path. I'm powerless to know how to escape this. Doesn't mean I'll always be powerless, but in this moment, I cannot snap my fingers and fix it right now. I can't just manifest that. I'm only human. And that's what I have to accept with this. Doesn't mean I'll never get there, but thinking I should be able to snap my fingers and get there because of some of the manifestation and not being able to, it's like, wow, how weak am I? And that's really unfair. Last line is, all I can do is learn to live with this. All I can do is learn to live with the fact that I don't know the way out. I don't know if there's a way out. I do think there is a way out. Will I reach it? I don't know. The best analogy for humanity is the blind leading the blind. People pretend they're confident and they can see the way, but they can't. People are just mostly repeating what other people say. And that's really good because I get to create my own reality and beliefs, but at the same time, like, wow, nothing's really certain, nothing's secure. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's anxiety provoking, it's overwhelming. What if the suffering never ends? So, with that, I think it's almost less painful to accept I don't know and just manage each decision one at a time. Because that's the best we can do. We're only human. We're not only human, we are human. It's not a judgment, it just is. So, thanks so much for watching. Create your best life. Talk to you later. Bye.
All I can do is learn to live with this.